Yo, what's guys, but I'm Fire here back with another video, and today we're going to be bringing you guys another offensive scheme. We're going to be hopping back in the pistol. A lot of you guys requested some more out of this. I couldn't get a gameplay, but we will be bringing another scheme, and we're going to be in the pistol ace slot. Now in this pistol playbook, once again, pistol play, got comments last video, even though I said it like 10 times. In this pistol playbook, there are a ton of cool formations, unique formations, and a lot of these formations are either only in the pistol playbook, or they'll be in other playbooks, but they will have a lot more plays in this playbook. So we're going to be in the pistol ace slot. As I mentioned, we can definitely check out some things like pistol wing slot if we wanted to. There's some really cool plays in there. Pistol U deep slot. There's just a lot of cool formations. There's a pistol wing, which is something that you don't see too often. Just a lot of cool stuff. We're in the pistol ace slot. There's a lot of good running plays, a lot of good passing plays. Here's our audibles. We have power O, dive, smash, and PA counter waggle. Some other good runs in this are going to be the halfback counter, of course. There's a read option and some other passing plays. You have PA boot on the right there and PA flood stretch, which we're going to run that PA flood stretch. I will show some setups from that. PA boot, it's not my favorite play because that crosser is really short. So we're just going to start out with the ground game. I'm actually going to come out and counter so you guys can see just a little bit more stuff. So we will get out and counter and just again showcase some of these running plays. So we're starting out with the counter, and you see just the blocks. It's a pretty heavy formation. You're gonna have two tight ends, so get some good tight ends. You only need two receivers. Now the Giants, they have decent tight ends. Rudolph's more of a blocking guy, but they have a nice speed guy in Evan Ingram over there. But yeah, man, you can see how the blocks are developing pretty well against a better defense than is our offense in this Giants team. And with this counter, it's just a nice run. You can also flip it to the right if you really wanted to, and you see that it can actually catch people off guard. You wouldn't think that it would work to the right side, but it actually did work really well right there. So, I mean, counter pretty good. I would like a quicker handoff animation, but you see we're picking up around 5 to 10 yards on almost every single carry, so it does seem to be working pretty well. And this can also help with the PA counter waggle because same thing, but then you just end up passing the ball, so it can also carry into that, which is the reason I like it. But again, not my favorite run, but it is still there. Let's move into the next run, which is going to be the power O. Now, there is a strong power and power O in this offense. There's actually both of them. Very important that you run the power O, not the strong counter. I like the way that it hands off. You notice how Daniel Jones actually does that weird flip when he catches the ball where he almost does like a 360. I like the way he does that. In strong power, it's a lot slower of a handoff animation, and it takes you just more time to get the ball in your hands, which against some heavy run defense, people who have really good run defense, they're trying to shoot the gaps quickly. That can come back to haunt you. But I mean, pretty good blocks. Again, you can definitely run the ball. I would say 50-50 split on running and passing in this formation if you're able to. If not, it's fine. You notice how you run to the other side, it's the same thing. He still does the flip, so it doesn't necessarily change anything when you flip the play from right to left, which again, running to this left side, you have more numbers over here realistically. So I mean, your blocks should develop if you just are patient behind this pulling guard, which I do recommend when you're running power and counter to be patient with the ball in your hands, especially when you have a fast running back like Saquon Barkley. It's important to stay patient, let that block develop, and then you can cut up field and you have your 10 yards right there. So, and again, if you have things like leapfrog or jukebox, you can just make a quick cut to the outside, cut it back in like this, which is really easy to do on those pulling plays. Again, the difference between the power and the strong power is simply that this right guard doesn't go on the hip as well. He's staying put. If we flip it, we have a little bit more space. But with the strong power, again, it's a lot slower. Not double, but probably like 1.5 times the speed. So it is significantly a difference between the two plays. And it's important to keep that in mind. Now, as far as some of the motion stuff, you can, of course, motion either of these receivers over to the right side. You can't motion anybody to the left as you would expect, but you can motion guys like Kadarius Toney over there. We could motion Sterling Shepard over there and then run this power O if we chose to that same direction. Again, if we wanted to, of course, same thing with Shepard. We can motion him across. We can also create a pistol wing slot look if we were to motion Rudolph to that right side. So just as far as some of the creative passing setups, concepts that you can create with the motion, those are kind of your limitations as far as doing that. So just the basic stuff that you would pretty much expect. But I mean, again, it's a pretty good run. You can get upfield. It's pretty good against most of the more popular run defenses in this game, which I like a lot. And again, if you want to, you can cut out, juke in, get creative with that. Same thing if you had leapfrog, will actually show it next play. You run to the outside, flip it, and then you can go back inside like that. And again, same thing. So if you have 3 of those abilities, it helps with how much AP you have. You could definitely pick one of those up for 1 AP. Our next one's going to be the dive, and you can run the dive or the slam. I think they're literally the exact same run when I tried them out. Again, the dive, pretty simple. You're just going to hand it off. I like the way that he hands this off, actually better. Again, he just kind of snaps the ball and hands it off like he's under center, which I do like the way that that looks. I don't know. For whatever reason, I like the way that these pistol handoff animations are. They look really cool to me. And again, this is just an inside zone run. You want to have both an outside run, outside zone type concept and an inside run, both within your audibles. So this is going to be our dive, and it is pretty good. You see the blocking up the middle is developing very, very well, but you're not going to get too creative. You're not going to, do too many juking things in this sense with this run. You want to kind of keep things simple, and with keeping things simple, you're either going to flip your run and run up the middle, or you're just going to run up the middle. There's not too much of a threat to go outside here, but if you're in short distances, I like this play a lot. And again, if you want to, you can get creative with the motion. Since you're running into the inside, you could either motion Sterling Shepard over like here, just to, again, it's important to give people something to look at. When you're running the ball as much as you should be in this formation, it's important to use things like motion to deceive the user and catch him off guard. Again, if you flip the play, this is what it looks like. The simple kind of flip 360 that Daniel Jones does is the same in this flipped dive as it is in the flipped halfback power O, which is nice. And again, very quick handoff animations. We're picking up 5 before contact almost every time with a subpar offensive line against a pretty good defensive line. So you love to see it. That's going to take us into our first passing play, which is going to be smash. I like this play a lot just based on the play art. We're not going to do actually too much in changing this. I like a lot of what I see. Now, we will definitely show some other things, but really all I did here was just smart out Y and kind of run everything else stock. First play against cover 2, we're going to throw it to the hitch because it gets cover 2. Cloud flat gets backed up, you can throw it to the hitch. Against cover 3, more times than not, I believe you're going to throw it to the corner out. Now, if you don't like the hitch, what can you do? You can go smoke screen over here. This is going to make it a little bit more clear, and you see you can also have a little bit more space to probably do a juke before you run into somebody. So those are the first 2 things that you can do. It really shouldn't affect the play too often, or too much rather. So that's your first read. This is going to be kind of high-low over here. If you want to open up the corner out maybe a little bit more, you can also put X on a streak and then potentially throw it over the top. Now, cover 2 overall is just going to do a really good job at defending that. Cover 3 would be a situation where that might be able to get more open, and accidentally messed up there. But if you wanted to, you could probably also just create a little flat over here, and then I think the flat's going to be open. So if you want a quick avenue to throw the flat, and I might switch to cover 3 as well for some of these passing plays, which I'm actually going to do right now so you guys can see a little bit better. Alright, so now we switched up to cover 3 just to give you guys a little bit of a different look. If you run the play stock, once again, now you see you're going to throw it to Kadarius Toney on the sideline with Gunslinger. That's a lot easier throw, and it's a lot less close than it looked right there. So, simple stuff right there. If you're really going to throw it down the middle, you can actually kind of fit in this seam streak with Kyle Rudolph. Possession catch would be recommended in most scenarios if they have a high hit power safety. Be careful with acrobats and their user. And over here on this right side, you have just a simple flat concept. You can check it down to Saquon Barkley in the flat over here very easily. I like the way that that flat runs because if you do have running back apprentice or backfield master or hot route master, one of those things, and you try to put the running back on a flat, he's automatically going to go to the left side here like he always does, go to the wide side. So just being able to check it down really easily right there makes a lot of difference in my opinion. Ideally, I would like to put a wheel route to the right side. We cannot do that, but I do want to go back to these wheel routes. The wheel routes are really good. If you really wanted to, you could actually just run this play stock with the wheel and the hitch, and it's actually not bad. If that's too big of a concern with you, if you don't like the wheel and the hitch spacing, which you can actually go ahead and do, and let's show it here. You can go ahead, put X on an out route, RB on the wheel still, and then keep the rest of the routes you have, and you see it just opens up the field a lot. You have three receiving targets open there. The wheel route's open, the out route's open, and the corner route's open. And one of my favorite things to do out of these pistol trip sets is just throw this little out route to Sterling Shepard. I'll throw that pass 5 times a game easily, and it's very difficult to defend because you can't use it. You have to either hard flat there, man him up, or immediately try and hard fly with your curl flat, but it's really difficult. The last kind of concept out of this smash play that I'll show is maybe like Y on a little drag here. We're going to go with the wheel out route, and then we can actually motion over Kadarius Toney on his corner route, turn it into a post route, just like this. And now you have a drag concept. We can throw it to RB over here, or we can throw it to B. The blocks aren't going to hold up, but you saw that the post route was getting open there. So next play is going to be PA counter waggle. This play is going to be good for Kadarius Toney is deep corner out. We have a nice S post behind that with Sterling Shepard that I am a fan of. And then we can keep this play pretty simple. If we really wanted to, what could we do? We could go back to the wheel route. We could streak A and run the play like this. I would not be opposed to that. And the nice thing about pistol A slot is you have a potential to block 8 people if you really wanted to, because you can block 2 tight ends, you can block your running back, you can block almost a lot of people in this formation. So if we ever need to, we can just block our tight end over here. If we're having a little bit of issues, we can just block him. Now we're gonna get some extra time, and we can roll out and throw that crosser to Kadarius Toney. I didn't catch it because he's not good, and Daniel Jones has no spin on the ball whatsoever, but Kadarius Toney's good. He just doesn't have good catching stats in this game. Before all the Giants fans attack me in the comments section, if you really wanted to, you could just run this play stock with the play action. And again, I did recommend the play action, especially when you run the counter. So if you're running the counter a lot, you can keep that play action. Otherwise, you can block and slide protect, do whatever you want, really. But yeah, my favorite concept would be either and again, you can mix it up with like a streak over here, drag somebody. I'll show some things with motion, but again, just a lot of times the backside drags when you have a deep crosser are just wide open. They get open against me a ton. I'm not good at defending them, so I know that they can get open if I use them. If you were to use some motion, you're probably going to motion over Sterling Shepard. You can throw him on a backside slant. You can throw him on a streak. I would probably go backside slant, personally, and then what I'm doing is I'm maybe streaking Y. And again, it depends on what you're facing, but probably what I'm doing here is putting A on like a little post route if I can, and then I'm streaking B, putting A on a post, or I'm streaking Y. I can't really show what I'm talking about, so it doesn't do much justice, but pretty much what I would do is I put X on a streak, motion him over, put A on a backside post, and then put Y on his drag or flatten him, and then I don't know, we could leave, or we could block Y, and then we get to put Saquon on a little out route like this. So you could just run a simple concept like this, and it's probably getting open. Again, a lot of times these simpler plays work better than all these complicated hot routes that you think about in your head that don't actually translate on the field. So I give a lot of ideas about that. Again, your crosser's the guy you're building your play around. If you can fit it into Kadarius Toney, you're more than welcome to throw the ball to him. Like right about here. He doesn't cut too concretely, but if you have route tech, it would be a little bit more clear on what you see. Our last play is going to be just the one we're out in, which is the PA flood stretch. You have a decent, nice cross route with Rudolph. I'll just kind of show it stock with a streak. And you also have a play action of the halfback dive. And you see he actually goes very deep down the field. It's a very usable crosser with the tight end. The regular PA boot play with the crosser is terrible. This one's a lot better. And again, with the play action, looks the exact same as the halfback dive. So now we have 2 play actions that look like 2 of our runs. And I'm happy with that. You also have a deep post with Kadarius Toney. These deep posts definitely are nice to have. And then if you wanted to, you can like streak X, just drag A. We can go back to the wheel route. We've been doing it all video. We can just like flat A over here, wheel him, and then X. So, I mean, you just have tons of options on what you can put on your football field. I love the wheel routes, and I feel like the running backs are just so... I just use them a ton in a lot of creative ways out of the pistol formation because of the wheel route a lot. So you can create cool concepts like that. Again, you can use motion because you have a tight end crosser. So if we want to, we can motion over like a backside slant over here. And then maybe I just put Saquon a little out route to this side. So you can do things like this. Now you have a motioned over slant. Boom, throw it right here. Again, deep post is good at clearing out. So if you don't want to, you don't necessarily need a streak on your field. And the last thing that you can actually do is motion over Kadarius Toney. And I don't know what you would do over here, but you can actually motion him over and turn him into a deep corner out. I would recommend motion snapping him because he's just going to get a lot more open than that. So motion snap him for sure. But that's pretty much going to wrap up the video. Again, if you want to see a gameplay, let me know. That's going to do the video. Drop a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel down below. We're trying to hit 20K. So make sure you subscribe. And peace. I'm out of here.